STP. Hello guys and welcome to the STPL. We are going into day 2, which would have been day 3 of the STPL Season 3, but unfortunately, if you weren't following the news during the week, White Clan are unable to continue in the season and they have dropped out. It's a little bit unfortunate. It does mean that Valhalla team get the 4-0 walkover for Wednesday, and also the only other game that White Clan won will become a loss as well. We'll basically make them all technically a 4-0 walkover, but any individual game stats will still count towards the individual players. Now, if you're watching the STPL for the first time, this is the format. It's a best of 5 all the way up until the finals, round robin group stage, set 1 to set 4. The lineups are all selected in advance, and all the games are played at the same time. So it means that we'll always watch the 4 games regardless of the outcome of game 1 to 3. Now set 5 won't always happen, but it's the ace match and it means every player can compete again. And then I really should have been better with words today, but it's all good. Basically, what am I trying to say? It means everyone can play again, and it also means someone who hasn't played in the Clan War before can play again, but that very rarely happens. The maps are going to be Hitchhiker, Monty Hall SE, Core Breach, Tripod, Andromeda, Byzantium 3, Fancy 2, and La Mancha. A really good set of maps so far this season. We've had some amazing games. Now let's have a look at our teams. Starting us off here is going to be Red. Now Red are a really strong European team. They're more a big group of friends than anything else. Now unfortunately I don't know where SOS Toss is from, because it looks like no one actually told me, unless I just cannot find it. Apparently he's Greek though, so for the next time he plays in the STPL, that will be up there with his flag. But starting us off, we've got Eriador, one of the most well-known players in the scene, overall nice guy, and always leads to really interesting Zerg and Protoss games. Following him, we're going to have Talent, one of the American players for Red. He hasn't played too many games in the STPL, so not really too much to say there. But then we also have LML, who is currently acting as one of the captains of Red, a really good Protoss player, has actually upset some really good players throughout his STPL career. So looking forward to seeing him. The team they are going to be up against is BuLL. We've got the Red Bull matchup today. Branding, hashtag sponsor me, Red Bull. You can see what we're doing. But basically, BuLL, very good team from Bolivia. They haven't done as well this season as maybe they did last season, but they've been up against some of the strongest opponents so far in their first 3 matchups. And the last 2 times they've actually met with Red, they have fallen. So this will be a little bit, or this kind of adds a little bit more importance to this match for both of these teams. Wapple starting them off, pretty strong Protoss player, has been added to their roster very recently. We've got Reyna, really good Terran player, hasn't had the best of luck in his last 4 games, but has been up against some really good opponents. Ugox, a pretty new player to the roster as well. Protoss, really good, but hasn't had the best results. And Inca, a pretty good Terran as well, had a really weird couple of games. So That's a little bit unfortunate, but let's have a look at the matchups we're going to see today. We're going to be starting with a ZVP, going to have a PVT, going to have a PvP, and they're going to have another PVT. So lots of Protoss today. If you are a fan of Protoss, this is definitely the right series to watch. If you like Terran as well, there's quite a few Terrans here, but I think out of all the matchups, I would say match 1 is probably going to be the most interesting, just because Eriador always does bring something interesting to the table. But let's not count out the other matchups as well. Even PvP on the Mancha can be very, very good. Let's have a look at our first two players. Speaking of the man himself, it's Eriador, aka Liquid Drone. He's been around since the birth of the game, and basically just a really, really good player. Lucky Noob in chat saying there's been a lot of PvZs on the other streams, and it's because the foreign scene is mostly full of Protoss and Zerg players. There's very, very few Terran players in the foreign scene, but that's why the STPL has been so good. We've had so many Korean Terrans, so many foreign Terrans as well that I didn't even know existed, because they don't take part in like BSL or anything like that. It's really cool to see them. Like, a lot of the South American Terrans that play in the STPL are all pretty good, and they're not quite as good in solo tournaments, so they don't really qualify for the like bigger leagues, but which is why you don't see them as much. But we definitely get a lot of Terrans here. It is a little bit of a shame to lose White Clan, given there's so many Terrans there, but it shouldn't really matter too much in the long term. They'll hopefully be back, maybe in Season 4, maybe in Season 5. But that's a long way away. Eriador, really good player. 66% win rate against Protoss as well. Really, really good. If you don't know Eriador, he used to play random. He still does play random on ladder, but in tournaments he plays Zerg versus Terran, Zerg versus Protoss, and Protoss versus Zerg. So we're going to see his EVP today. And his opponent for BuLL is going to be Wapple. Wapple is definitely one of the stronger players on BuLL, at least historically, in terms of win rate in the STPL. Not that he's played too many games. He's beaten a couple of good players as well. He's got a 50% win rate against Zerg, but once again, that is only over 2 games, so it's not the biggest deal. The map we're going to be heading into is going to be a map here for Eriador. Eriador definitely known well for playing on weirder maps, or at least playing on all the maps, given the fact he's been around forever. But Fantasy 2 is actually a mix of 4 maps that he will know very well. Starting in the top right, you have Nostalgia. Bottom right is Ride of the Valkyries. Bottom left is Sin Gamer Go On. And top left is Legacy of Char. All 4 of those maps were very popular during their respective periods, and that's why someone made this map back in, I think it was 2007. It's kind of like a mix of all 4. You would think it would lead to shorter games, given how weird it is, but we've had some really long macro games here, and ZVP here usually lasts around 15 minutes, which is pretty good timing, actually. It's a nice mid-game game. Super late game is also fun, and with Eriador, that's certainly something I think we might have a chance of seeing as we get into game number 1. It's Eriador versus Wapple. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom right hand corner in the silver, fighting for BuLL in the Ride of the Valkyrie spawn, it's Wapple. And spawning up here in the top left in the yellow, fighting for red, it's going to be Eriador, our Zerg player. Now I'm hoping we'll start off with a strong game here. It wouldn't surprise me if we did, given how good Eriador is on these kind of maps, but it feels a bit weird casting, given I had a day off the other day. It's not really weird, but what I've mostly been doing is just hanging around on VR chat with Japanese people, so that's what I do. It's fun, lots of nice people. I've met a couple of other English people, but I'm gonna have to be completely honest, most of the American people I've met on VR chat are just horrific. Like, there's very few, like, actually nice American people on VR chat that I've met. Oh well, it's all good. I'm sure there's lots of lovely Americans in chat. maybe watching the VODs as well, because I know there is a lot of American people that watch the STPL. VR chat is basically, if you imagine something like IRC, but then you put everyone with a character, like an avatar as well. And yeah, it's Second Life, basically. It's all user-generated content. It's really, really good. It's just a chat program, but you can meet people. It's really nice. And because I've got a VR headset now as well, I use that sometimes, and it's really good because it allows you to emote better. But in terms of what's going on in this game, which is the important thing, obviously, it's going to be 2-gate coming in from WAPL. Now, it may look like the bases are very close together in this map, but especially going to that top left-hand spawn, the rush distances are very, very long. Now, WAPL was taking a little bit of a risk going for a 2-gate, because if they spawn a little bit closer, maybe in the Sin game or go on spawn, you've got a really nice quick rush distance, but to get to the Legacy of Char spawn, it takes forever. Now we've got a hatchery coming in. I think this was actually overpull into hatchery, which is not too bad. It means it's going to be okay against the early zealots. Princess Termagen asked me if I'm going to do more CMSL. I think the ship for that sailed a long time ago, because that tournament ended a long time ago and someone else finished all the English casting. I set out with good intentions to do the whole thing, and then I realized I just didn't have enough time. And I feel really guilty about it as well, because I agreed to do it and I was enjoying it, but I didn't have enough time in my days, which is a bit sad. But good thing is there's a new CMSL starting up soon, and there's some incredible players. I think it's already actually started, so you guys should check that out on Castamuse's channel. WAPL moving forward here with his first 3 zealots. Gonna see the amount of lings and pulls back immediately. Because the one problem with going for 2-gate is if your lings get caught in the middle of the map, or if your zealots get caught in the middle of the map and you lose them all, suddenly you don't have anything back at home to defend. So he's gonna go back home. He's forced a lot of lings out from Eriador, so as long as he survives the initial onslaught here, he'll be in a good spot. The Nexus is coming up now. Because this is a Ride of the Valkyrie spawn, it is quite difficult to be able to expand here with a wall. So this is going to be entirely zealots protecting this Nexus. The probe is actually still alive here, which is very good to keep this alive this long. If he can make it to around 5 minutes 30, then he's pretty much a Protoss god. But let's see if WAPL can actually defend against this early ling bust, because this is a ton of units, and this isn't that many zealots. Now it looks like that's a little bit unfortunate. But looks like the lings aren't going to be able to do too much damage here. Zealots holding strong, showing how strong they are as melee units. Kind of expected. Definitely, if you can't get a full surround, if you don't have speed, lings aren't really going to do too much. But this gives Eriador a chance to get ready. He actually went in before speed there, which is kind of confusing. But I guess Eriador thought he had a timing there. Unfortunately, he didn't. But he does keep the zealots back at home. Spire is on the way. It was lair before speed as well, which is why the speed was so late. And this is going to become a little bit of a problem, because when you go for 2-gate, you delay everything else. Like, your Nexus is a little bit later than it probably would not, well, definitely would normally be. The Cybernetics core is only just now starting up. Now, are we going to skip Stargate as WAPL, or are we going to go straight into a Cyber core, which would actually be a massive problem against the Spire build? But 3 lings going to get into the base. They will see everything they need to see. He's even going to get a couple of probes here. This is so hard to actually manage to do, given how good the... Oh, that was actually really nice. That probe draw was really, really good. Now, luckily enough for WAPL, he's not skipping Stargate. So he is going to be able to deal with any possible muteless that come out. Now, we do have the option of Eriador just going for a Hydralisk in behind this. He is going up to 3 hatcheries, but I get the feeling we're going to see some muteless play here. Yes, we are. Now, this is a very hard map to defend against muteless on. When you look at the natural, there is tons of space back here, and it's a cliff as well. And given the fact that Wapple delayed all of his tech so much, the first Mutalists are going to be on the way to his base before the first Corsair is done. Now, there's still a Ling in his base somehow. I don't know how this managed to get in still. Maybe I missed it on the minimap, but he's going to keep that alive in the natural now, or just above the natural. The Mutalists are on their way already, and there just isn't really anything that can shoot up for Wapple. I think this could just be a very quick victory here for Eriador. We're finally getting a cannon coming in the main, but there's nothing to defend the natural whatsoever. Now, it is only 6 Mutalisks for the time being, which isn't that many, and there is a Corsair here, but look at this. Look how little damage a single Corsair does to spread out Mutalisks. These Mutalisks are going to chase down the Corsair. They killed the cannon. That's definitely a lot of extra damage. Oh, the Scourge coming in as well. They're flying into the... Oh, they flew into the cannons. A little bit unfortunate there, but another cannon going down by Eriador. And Wapple is in a lot of trouble here. The second Corsair does come out. The more the Corsair count builds up, the better it gets. But losing this many cannons is devastating. And now the probe line is under fire. There is a lot of Zealots heading up towards Eriador's base, though, which could be a big, big problem. But look at this. He's already got 4 sunken colonies. And there is no... Oh, Eriador. Oh, he gets a Corsair as well. And it looks like... Yeah, it looks like Eriador may just win the game with this. The Zealots can't do anything. There's way too much stack defense back at home. Now, Eriador's economy isn't great. He doesn't have a huge number of drones, but the way this is going, it doesn't really matter. A Dragoon comes out. Dragoons are absolutely worthless in small numbers against Mutalisks. And it looks like this Nexus is going to go down. Now, the problem is we're not going to have... Like, we can't have an infested Nexus or anything like that. They really should have added that, but... I guess that's not the way Zerg work. Now, there is there's 2 Corsairs still. Oh, no. This Pylon is going to unpower the Citadel. It's going to unpower the Stargate and the Cybernetics core. If he can target it down before +1 is done, that is going to be huge. He does! The Pylon goes down, and suddenly, Wapple is... Well, I say suddenly. He's been in a bad situation for a while. Oh, he's even going to unpower the gateways. This is going from bad to worse. Wapple is going to be unable to build anything. And he's even camping with Scourge over the Stargate, even though there's no way any units are coming out. A Pylon trying to come up here, but it's just absolutely worthless. It's going to go down immediately. The Citadel is being targeted down because with no Citadel, you cannot get a Templar Archives. And with no Templar Archives, no Stargate, and no powered gateways, there is nothing that Wapple is going to be able to do here. Now, I heard Scourge blow up. I don't know if they did kill anything. Now, of course, Corsair does pop out. Wait, what? This is unpowered? How is that unpowered? I have no idea. There's a Pylon right there. But I guess this is the way it goes. +1 is going to be cancelled here. The Stargate is going to go down as well. Now we've got another Stargate being added on in the natural. 3 cannons are here as well. You can see Eriador is scouting every other base on the map. He's like, why are you still in this game? But that Pylon and that Cybercore, I genuinely have no idea how that wasn't in range. Pylons are so strange, man. Diagonals as well. But looks like we are going to have Scourge coming in on the other 2 Corsairs. Great splitting by Eriador. Going to take down one of them. Cannot get the other one. But doesn't matter. The trouble is, there's so many cannons here that Eriador is not actually going to be able to close out this game immediately. He's going to have to just kill all the buildings in the main base and then build up enough units to break this many cannons, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do. But Mutalisks are very strong. If he gets his +1 carapace, he should be pretty good. I mean, Eriador's economy is ridiculous right now. He's on 36 drones. He's about to probably go into a 3rd and 4th base as well behind this. And he's even going into a 4th hatchery. Now, there's no Queen's Nest, so we're not going to see Ensnare or anything like that. But Eriador has pretty much done everything he needs to do here. Because even though Wapple is still in the game, realistically, he is hanging on by a thread. There's realistically nothing he can do here. I'm one to be very, very optimistic, but he's had no gateways building units for a long time. He's had no Stargate for a long time, and he still doesn't have +1 attack. He's actually going into +1 shields. Now, I don't know if this was a misclick, or if he just wants to keep his cannons alive a little bit longer, but I mean, shields maybe won't be the best choice. But this is essentially tower defense now for WAPL, as he's going to struggle to hold on. And now look at this, Eriador going into Hydralisks. This is just going to pretty much be the nail in the coffin. Now, WAPL does have a probe out in the middle of the map. Maybe if he hides a gateway and he builds a couple of DTs, Eriador doesn't have detection in the right place, although he does. And then the game ends. But I don't think that's going to happen. The Muteless coming in here into the main. Once again, just checking there's no expansion there. And even more cannons being added on. WAPL is 100% playing tower defense right now, because this is all he can do. He can't build any other units. May as well spend... I mean, he can't really even fit gateways in this base. You could probably fit two, maybe 1 or 2 here. Maybe 2, but other than that, there's not really anything else he can build. Now we've got Eriador taking the island base. This is perfect for him, given the fact he knows his opponent has no way of getting to it. He's also going to take this mineral only over on the left-hand side. Now, I really have no idea how or why WAPL is probably still in this game. Like, I'm usually a person who stays in games way too long, and I mean, if Eriador does mess up, he could still win. Like, if Eriador throws away all of his Mutalisks on the cannons and the Corsairs, maybe there's some crazy chance that he can get a Templar Archive, get some DTs, and kill all the Overlords. But I don't see it happening. I'm a very optimistic person, but look at Eriador's SimCity. There is no way Zealots are getting anywhere near this base to do anything. And they've got to get past all of these Hydras as well that are already +1 attack upgraded. Eriador transferring drones over to the third base as well. And Eriador is just kind of surrounding his opponent here, just making sure he's not doing anything. Now, it looks like WAPL is getting ready to expand to his main again. Now, maybe if he can expand to his main, he can do something, but let's see if Eriador can actually break these cannons. I mean, even if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world, but that will still be a massive, massive problem. But I don't think there's enough cannons in this game to defend against all of this. The Nexus is coming up in the main, as we noticed. Looks like the Corsair's getting caught out a little bit in the middle. But I mean, this is, as I said before, this is going to be very difficult for Eriador to push into. Like, you can already see Eriador doesn't really want to push here. He's going to wait until he gets more units and then go. He's getting his third gas up. He should be going into a Queen's Nest soon. And then from that, he can go into a Hive as well. And I mean, the second he gets a Defiler, it's game over. Because Dark Swarm will just nullify all of the cannons. All of them. Now, WAPL is valiantly holding on. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. It is a tournament game, so you may as well fight to your very last. He's still got money. He still has a base. Admittedly, he's mining out, but he's got a ton of Corsairs now, all with +1 shields, and he does have Storm coming in. And if he can get Storm, if he can storm all of the army, then that's bad for Eriador, because yes, Eriador's got SimCity, but this base is undefended. This base is pretty well defended, but with enough Zealots, with enough units, he can break it. Now there is going to be a lurker drop into the natural from the cliff. And he's actually going to go into the main as well. The probes here are going to go down. Now the Corsairs coming back. Let's see how much damage they do to the Mutalisks. They do have +1 attack, I think, finally. And they do have +1 shields, so they are going to be able to do a decent amount. But there's just no detection here, so he's got no way of dealing with the lurkers. Now these Mutalisks are getting absolutely destroyed, but oh my god, the cloning from Eriador is so good. Eriador knows how to control Scourge. That was so good. Now the lurker on the high ground did go down to the cannon, but the Nexus in the main is going to go down again. And there's just no recompense for this, unfortunately. There's no observatory. There is a robo finally coming in. But is the Robo going to be enough? I don't think it is. Now this is going to be the nail in the coffin here. Aerodor is just going to drop a ton of Hydralisks into his opponent's main base. Queen's Nest is coming up as well. And GG, Wapple taps out, and Aerodor wins game number 1. Now, just to confirm, all the games are played on top versus bottom, so it means if there's missing chat, it doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't say GG. I don't know for sure, but replays on top versus bottom often cut off the chat, so there we go. I mean, that was definitely a weird game to start us off, but we'll be heading into game 2, and when we get back, I should probably turn my light on now, actually, but it's quite nice, it's quite cool with my light off, so I feel pretty good. But I'll be back in a minute with game number 2. See you guys soon. Toss a coin to your content creators, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 2. This one is going to be on Monty Hall, but starting us off here for red is going to be Talent. Now Talent hasn't had the best record throughout his STPL history, but in terms of STPL, he's still a relatively new player, so there is still a lot of time for him to be able to come back. And overall, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing his game here. His opponent is going to be the one, the only. It's the star player for BuLL himself. It's Reina. Reina, the best Bolivian Terran. He's done pretty damn well in the STPL overall. And he's actually got a 53% win rate against Protoss, which is really impressive. And now the last time he did play on this map, he lost against TTF in a TBT. That was an incredible game, but overall, just a really, really good player. Looking forward to seeing him. As I said, the map they're going on to is Monty Hall SE this season. This is probably the weirdest map we have, just because of the map layout. Essentially, it's really strange. Basically, you have the bases in the top left and the bottom right. And then you have 3 possible naturals you can expand to. They're all behind mineral walls. And then once you've opened up that mineral wall, you open up the path to the opponent's main base as well. Now, this is a map that can lead to very long, drawn-out macro games, but you can also have very short games here as well, because there is a lot of trickery you can do with those units. With units, with buildings, with proxies and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into game number 5. Game number 5? Where was I when I missed game number 2, 3, and 4? I don't remember casting those ones yet. But with game number 2, it's Monty Hall SE. Let's get started. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player fighting for red. It's Talon. And in the wonderful magenta, which seems to be the color of choice for our South American Terran players, it is going to be Reyna fighting for BuLL. Now I feel this is a pretty good time to show off some of the really cool cheerfuls that people have made for the STPL. And when I say people, there have been a few others that aren't made by Lucky Noob, but Lucky Noob has made the vast majority of them for sure. We've also got this one as well, because we are watching Red. Now, Red are 1-0 up, so I think it's only right that we show off one of the BuLL ones. Now this one is actually one of the cooler ones that's made from just the logos that Lucky Noob did. So here we go, looks like here's a little bit of a cheer. Now if you want to submit your own cheerfuls that will be shown off on the stream, click the link in the chat, the TL link, but that's really, really cool. I love the animation on it. I like how you've made it so the BuLL looks normal and then it looks angry. That's really clever. Now, as I mentioned with this map specifically, it's definitely more of a map that can trend more towards macro games. We've had some really, really fun long games here. Now, we've actually got Reyna getting ready to probably float his barracks to the other side. Now, what this allows him to do is send a Marine to one of his opponent's naturals. But here we go. Talent skipping over the minerals, using the mineral trick here. I'm going to be able to take this as his expansion. So, breaking through the middle, not going to be doing too much. Gateway coming up in the main as well. Now, the interesting thing about the way this map works, yes, there are mineral rules, but they are very small amounts of minerals. You can mine through them fairly quickly. Now, I wonder if Reyna is actually going to choose to float over there, or if he's not. He's actually going to expand to his mineral wall here. Now, necessarily, that isn't the best choice, given you are going to have to float your command center a little bit later anyway. But it does mean you can mine through there a little bit more efficiently. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off. You get a later gas, but you get a few additional minerals a little bit faster. Because it also means you don't have to mess around with trying to glitch SCVs through to expand. So not too bad. It also keeps you a little bit safer as well. Because say, for example, he glitched his SCV through, was building a command center, and there were 2 gates here or something. All of a sudden your command center dies. Now, Talon getting ready to push himself over with a pylon. This is one of the other tricks that I've shown off on my Neo Outlier video I made a couple of times. Well, you may have seen it in all the breaks. Here we go. He's going to move himself to this, probably here. He's trying to find somewhere he can put the pylon down. Here we go. And that allows you to kind of push your probe across. Now, you can definitely do it here. I guess he's just kind of waiting. We've got a second gateway coming up, and this is the problem. Look at this. All of his probes are confused. They're trying to take the minerals back to this nexus, and they don't know where the nexus is because they can't get through the mineral wall. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but they are going to be able to go through now. Now we do have this one mined through, so he only mined through one of them, and he is going to float immediately. So he's expanding pretty quickly. We've got a bunker coming up here just to be safe as well. And there we go, I missed it, but the pylon got put up, pushed the probe through the wall. We've got 2 factories over here for Reyna against 2 gateways, fairly standard. Now, on this map, I would imagine we'll see Reyna go for a dropship. He seems to favor dropship play a little bit more in TVP than maybe some of our other Terrans. And overall, that's a good thing. Drops in TVP are really cool. You can also drop a tank on this high ground, if I remember rightly. Because you can definitely do it here, so... It is kind of annoying for the Terran player trying to chase the probe, because the probe's just going to get away. I wonder if there's a Marine in the bunker. No, there isn't. So the probe is going to get away scot-free, although for some reason he is going to just go and hide in the mineral line and die. So, a little bit of a misplay there by Talent. Could have kept his extra probe alive, but I mean, to do anything with the probe, he'd probably have to glitch it back over. So I guess it saves him a little bit of work. He did steal 5 minerals from his opponent's base anyway, so, or 8 minerals should I say. Now it is Friday, of course. Really looking forward to the weekend. I've also got a long weekend in the UK because of bank holiday on Monday, which is really, really good. Now we've actually got a turret ring coming up immediately here from Reina. Now this does protect him against any possible Reaver play, which we do know is coming as the observers. But Reina doesn't actually know that yet. He's not scouted his opponent at all. This is the first time he's going across the map. So he's kind of using his intuition, maybe checking Talent's other games as well. Talent hasn't played too many games in the STPL, so I don't think you probably check them here, but maybe someone has run into Talent a little bit on ladder. And I thought Reina was getting ready to proxy a starport there, but he didn't. First armory coming in, fairly good timing here. Now, I mean, Reina is pretty much set. Like, he doesn't need to worry about anything the Protoss can really do to him right now. But speed shot is going to make it a little bit harder to hold on to. I mean, it is going to be a risk to fly into the base, but once you're in the base, there's very little anti-air. So I do wonder if we'll see, like, Talent fly over this turret or something. Now, Talent's doing a pretty good job just laying pylons all over the place. This does make it so if he wants to, he can spot any dropships. Obviously, when they die, if Reina pushes, it's a little bit annoying because you can get yourself supply blocked, but it's not the end of the world. It also stops any vultures just running straight by as well. Oh, Reina is really over preparing with turrets here. This is actually too many turrets. I mean, it's gonna help. And oh my god, he doesn't even see the robo. Misplaced scan just about. He sees the 3 gateways though, so he should know that something funky is going on. But he didn't see the expansion either. Luckily enough for him, it wasn't a DT drop. Because if that was a DT drop, he just used both of his scans, didn't see any of the tech minus the robo. He didn't see the robo bay, of course. Now, oh my god, this is actually going to be devastating. He's flying directly over the one place where there's 2 turrets. Look how quickly the shuttle dies. No way are you trying to go in there. Oh, he's going to try and shoot the turret, but he can't. Oh my god, he's wasting minerals on this as well. Reavers cannot shoot through these mineral walls in any position. Just an FYI to any Protoss players. But I like to call that justice. That is justice. For all the times they scarab down my turrets. Complete and utter justice here. Now Talent is going to be able to clean up this at the very least. We've actually got tanks everywhere right now, just kind of defending the outer rims of the bases. We've got both players going into third bases as well. Not really anything either player is going to be able to do to each other. Now look at the turret positioning, it's so good. There is absolutely no way for any Reaver to get into this base. And no matter how much he tries, no matter where he goes, there is going to be tanks and there is going to be turrets. Look at this! He's got 3 turrets here. There is no way you are breaking through this. It almost feels like he's hard countering carriers, but I don't think we're going to see carriers this game. I think it's going to be Arbiter. Yeah, it's going to be Arbiter here. Templar Archives coming in, Stargate coming in as well. Now, the one thing you may not know about this map is all the bases, there are a lot of them, they all have 2,000 gas, including the naturals. So, sorry, the naturals have 5,000, I think, and then all the other bases have 2,000. So even though you can expand to a lot of bases, it's not actually super important. Like, it doesn't do too much in the long term. You still have to be efficient with your gas usage. Now 5 gateways here. Obviously the Citadel is done. Templar Archives is done. I do wonder where he's going to build. Oh my god. Quadruple Stargate. It is going to be carrier. Why would you go Templar Archives into quadruple Stargate is the question I want to know. Maybe he's faking Arbiter play, I guess, but this is going to get very bad very quickly for Raynor if he doesn't push. Like, if Raynor doesn't scout this coming, even with his quadruple million turrets around his base, it's not going to matter. 4 turrets at or 4 carriers at a time is so hard to deal with this Terran. Now, Lucky Noob pointing out carriers with Arbiters, that can also be very good. We can already see the fleet beacon is up though. 4 Stargates are done. I don't even think he can afford carriers on all of his Stargates right now. Yeah, he's only building 1 carrier. But he is going to expand away from his opponent as well, which is really, really good. Raynor would have to break through this mineral wall if he wants to push that way. Now, Raynor does have the option of going for lockdown if he sees this, and maybe we'll have a replay of Boxer versus Nalra on this map from like 2007, where he went lockdown against carriers. It was one of the sickest games ever, but unfortunately it's not Radley in this game, so I don't think we'll see that. But it would be interesting to see if he can go for lockdown. Vessels coming in. Double armory, it looks like +1 attackers just finished. Yeah, there we go. And Raynor is kind of getting ready to push, but he can't really push this way because of these minerals. Unless he brings a ton... You know what you could do? You can actually bring a ton of SCVs up here and just mine through in one go. That would actually be very clever. You can also do the gas trick, where you build a gas and then you cycle the gas and minerals. You know, I think he assumes that his opponent has broken through here, and he hasn't. So that's going to be a little bit disappointing for him. Is he going to mine this out? Like, if he gets up here and mines this out, what realistically does Talent have? He's got some gateway units. They're going to have so much trouble pushing through this small gap that unless the carriers come out here thick and fast, Raynor could actually do critical damage with this push, but he needs to send SCVs. Now, has he sent enough? He's only sent 3. That's not enough to break through here. In this specific circumstance, I think he needs 4. And he's also mining all of the other minerals first, which, yeah, that's not going to work, because it's just going to take longer to break through. And the longer you take, the more this carrier count builds up, and the more the interceptor count builds up. Now, I believe he does have the interceptor upgrade, which is good, because I have seen Protoss players forget that sometimes. Oh my god, look at this. Okay, I thought it was just all SCVs coming up, but it isn't going to be SCVs. The observer goes down, and it's still only 3 SCVs. He's still going to be mining the 3 separate areas. Now, he did scan a couple of times, but he's only scanned the main. He does not know about the carrier. Oh wait, he may have seen 1 carrier, but he doesn't know about the 4 Stargates. He is going to be so surprised when this happens. And I mean, the carrier interceptor count isn't that high just yet. He's going in a little bit too soon, honestly. But he just wants to stop the SCVs from mining at these minerals, because if he can do that, it doesn't matter. The units aren't going to get into his base. Yeah, this is a little bit wasteful. I mean, Talent is sat on so much money right now that it's not the biggest deal anyway, but still. Raynor is in a lot of trouble the longer this game goes on, but he is going to expand to a 4th base up here in the top right. He still hasn't opted to take his naturals, his other ones. Now, they're actually the best bases you can take in this circumstance, the 3.4k by the way, because the carriers can't actually engage through the middle of the map. Now, this is almost like the perfect position for these carriers to be in. Like, I don't really understand what Raynor is attempting to achieve here by sitting in this position. He's not going to be able to break through, and even if he does, there's enough units in this main base now that they can hold on. Now, Talon is starting to mine out of some of his bases. They are low mineral bases as well. But still, the carrier count is already so high. There's 6 carriers The tanks are going down very, very quickly. They are at 2-1 upgrades. Look how many vultures there are here. These vultures aren't going to do anything. Now the trouble that Reyna has is he can't actually free any supply to build any additional Goliaths. Until he can mine through these minerals, he's kind of checkmated himself. It's so unfortunate, but I just don't see a way of him breaking through this base. He's never going to get through the minerals. He needs to just go home and just mass expand or something. It's so strange. There's so many carriers now. 7 here. There's another carrier coming out soon as well. Like, you cannot sit in this position. There's been no EMP either. He's basically saved all of his carriers so far. No covert ops, so no lockdown, although that would be surprising if we got to see that. But look at this. Okay, so Talent knows that Reyna is trying to expand into the middle of the map. Now this... Oh my god, he's actually broken through. Okay, he did manage to get through the minerals, but there's no tanks. Vultures alone are not going to do anything. And the carriers, they're not far enough away. They're just going to turn around. Oh my god, all of his units are stuck. He's vortexed himself. This isn't good. But let's have a look, see how this is going to go. We'll zoom out a little bit to keep an eye on the action. I can't see this any other way than the Terran army getting completely demolished here. And now he actually glitched one of the Goliaths through. But, I mean, this just isn't going to go well. I think Talon's wrapped this one up right here, right now. Now, there is a ton of Goliaths coming in here to respond to this. But he doesn't have any tanks to deal with the gateway units. And there's still been no EMP on the carriers. No EMP on the carriers means they're so much harder to kill. And oh my god, that could have been a big mind drag. Yeah, it looks like this just could be... Oh, he does kill one of the carriers. That's a good move. But there's still 6 remaining. Now, running into mines is not going to help the cause here for Talent whatsoever. And he is going to be able to get another carrier. No, he's not. The carriers are 1 hit from death. He moved a little bit too quickly. Reyna's going to lose his 4th base here. And he needs to pull the SCVs away, honestly. Like, just send them to your other natural. Yeah, this is a little bit unfortunate here for Reyna. The supplies have plummeted for Reyna, down 100 supply now, almost on his opponent. Reyna is mined out of his main, he's mined out of his natural, and he's only realistically on 1.5 mining bases again. And I think Red just have BuLL's number this series. They're just doing so well. Now, Talent does need to look to expand again. There is an island at the top right he can't really get to at the moment. But the carriers are going to... Now, this is the problem, right? Imagine if the Goliaths were pushing through the middle. These carriers would not be able to get into this position. I mean, Reyna is going to try and push up to the top left. But that's where the gateway units are. That's exactly where Reyna, or where Talent wants you to go. Because he's going to fly in. He's going to kill your command center. And when he does that, what are you going to do? Reyna is going to be mined out. He's going to have absolutely nothing going on. And that's 400 minerals that Reyna just does not have. Now, the Goliaths have managed to push back the Dragoons for the time being. The carriers are going to be coming back over the top, or top right-hand cliffs. I mean, he is managing to break through these Dragoons, but is he going to be able to break through the carriers? Now, if he target fires properly, he can kill these carriers, but he's got no vision. Oh, it looks like the carrier is going to run out into a position where they are under fire, does lose one of them. And if Reyna can win this game, it would be an absolute miracle. But Reyna, the star player of BuLL, if only he could target fire the lower carriers, he'd be able to kill like 3 in 2 shots. He kills 1, but that's too much. GG. Reyna taps out, and Talent wins game number 2. Okay, that's going to take us to a quick break, and when we get back, we'll be heading into game number 3.
STPL Season 3. Yeah. STPL does. Bio TVP? Wow! No problem. We got dragons to defend. Yeah! STPL does! STPL does! Mass Scout? Oh, I'm so afraid we got Hydralisk to defend. Yes! STPL, STPL. Fantastic production, fantastic casters, fantastic prize pool, only in STPL.
Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Okay, it's time for a quick tip. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3 of Red versus BuLL. Now Red in this series seem to have the number on BuLL, as BuLL is struggling to take a game so far. Ariador with a very strong showing. Talent with a very clever hidden carrier switch is just making things so much harder for both of these players now, or for the BuLL players, sorry. Now, starting us off here for Red, we're going to have LML. LML is one of their best players. He's actually got a 100% win rate against Protoss, but then again, he's only played 2 games. But he is a very, very strong Protoss player. In his last in his last game, he beat Beast. That's all I need to know. That's a really, really good win over a Zerg player. And the fact he's not lost against Protoss is pretty damn good as well. His opponent fighting for BuLL is going to be Ugox. Ugox hasn't had the same kind of successes in the STPL, but he's not played too many games, and he has been up against some very, 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 very strong opponents himself. 3 of his only games have been against like some of the stronger players on each team, with Mighty Terror and Sack, and he did beat Ruskig back in January, so he's had a win, which is good. Let's have a look at the map stats we're going to be heading into. It is going to be La Mancha. La Mancha, one of the more standard maps in the map pool this season. It's on the ladder map pool at the moment, so you would have seen quite a lot of it being played. It's overall just a very, very good map, so looking forward to it. Let's get into it. It's game number 3, Red versus BuLL. Red are on match point. Can they take the series? Okay, the game has begun, and over here in the top right hand position we do have fighting in the red for BuLL. It's Ugox. Looks like they're having a few problems with DCs. Hopefully this game was okay. And starting us off down here in the bottom right hand corner, fighting for red in the blue, which is definitely a little bit confusing. It's LML for red. Now one thing I will say is, even though the colors are confusing, at least they hosted top versus bottom, because look at the colors we could have had. This is why I put the top versus bottom rule in. If anyone wants to disagree with me over this, then I'm happy for you to disagree, but this is just awful. And this is the default colors as well. It's the default colors, so it's not like the colors they added make a difference. Like, that is just how Brood War works with colors, man. This is how it is. Now, usually in the STPL, when we're seeing Protoss versus Protoss, we see a lot of mirror builds versus mirror builds, but we actually have an earlier gateway coming in from LML. Ugox is saving up for something. Now, if he goes for a Nexus first, in PvP, that would be incredibly risky. And he's going to do it. He's going to go for a 12 next here. The TT1 special, the SouL special, I guess, as well. And this is just not something you see every day, and there's a damn good reason. He is up against 2 gateways. How do you defend with a Nexus first when your opponent's first scouting as well? Like, Basically, all of the stars have aligned here to make this the perfect game for LML to win. And LML is on match point. Now, I feel a little bit bad throwing up a cheerful 4 red in a time where we're struggling. But can we talk about the elephant in the room? Because there's a big elephant, and it's about to be right in LML, or right in Ugox's room very, very shortly. This is a really good, really good cheerful, by the way. And we do have a pylon coming up here. Now, is he going to defend with cannons? Not too sure. There is going to be 2 gateways coming up. No forge just yet. Now, the pylons do help a little bit. They bug out some of the units. But look at this. LML is even going to send 2 probes with this as well, because he's like, well, you can't defend this. And the funny thing is, LML, if he builds a pylon here, he's going to block any Dragoons in the base, I think. And Dragoons are like a long, long way away. It's going to be Zealot versus Zealot, Probe versus Probe. And he's... oh, it's actually his pylon. I didn't even notice. He's building the shield battery outside of his opponent's main. Now, if Ugox can hold on to this, he is a PvP god. It's almost impossible to hold on in this situation. But genuinely, I am interested to see what's going to happen here. We've got a pylon coming up in the main. This is a second pylon in the main for Ugox here. Now the first zealot of Ugox has gone down. The probes are trapped. Ugox with a fantastic box in gets all of the probes. Now this does mean that his economy is a little bit better. Of course, he's not really mining at the moment. But he is doing a really, really good job defending this so far. He's not lost any probes. He loses his first probe now, but that's not the biggest deal. Now going to fall back to the shield battery here is LML. Going to get full shields back on these zealots. But this gives Ugox time for his defender's advantage to kick in. Shield battery coming up for him as well. The zealots are hurt on the other side. Now the probe count is even now, but nice target firing with these probes really helping out here. And LML is actually really struggling to get damage done. I thought this would be a lot easier for him. But Ugox is doing a fantastic job here. LML losing most of his zealots. Ugox with the perfect hold. This should not be happening. It was a total build order loss. And LML is struggling to kill his opponent now. He has taken him down to 10 probes. But he's got... wait. He cancelled the Nexus. I didn't even realize the Nexus got cancelled. My bad. I thought he still had the Nexus still. I was too busy focusing on the Zealot micro. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is actually not good for Ugox. Now, shield barrier from both sides means this is going to get a little bit funky. Obviously, there's no expansion on the other side here, and there's a lot more zealots on the side of Ugox on this ramp. So it does look like he is going to be able to break through, but shield barrier coming in handy is going to keep them alive a little bit longer. But I think Ugox has held. This is as perfect as it could have been, given the situation. Yes, he lost some probes, but he managed to make... well, he managed to live, which is the main thing. When you go for a 12 next, your gateways are super delayed. He didn't have any forge, he didn't have any cannons or anything. And he did manage to not die, so I would call that a perfect hold. Even if you do lose a few probes. And now Ugox is actually the one with a massive zealot lead. And he is going to use that to push forward while he expands. Now this is a little bit of a mistake here. I definitely would prefer him to sort of hold back. Just expand properly. Because there is enough zealots here, or at least there should be, if they weren't chasing the zealot around in the main, to hold this ramp. And it looks like Ugox realizes that. He's going to turn back home and go and expand just safely. Now we do have the gas. It's been up for a little while for LML. Ugox, his gas is only just finishing up, so the tech should be a little bit faster here for LML. He's going into range of Dragoons for the time being, and he is going to go into a Robo behind this as well, so he's not going to try and expand behind this. He did have the option of going for it given his minerals, but he's playing it a little more safe, knowing that his opponent did have a little bit of a unit lead for the time being. But Ugox, this means he's going to get a free second base essentially. Okay, now it's going to hit that phase in PvP where neither player really wants to attack. They're not really 100% sure what's going on the other side of the map, so they're both going to be scouting out again. Most likely, we're going to see LML wait for Reavers to come in, then push again, and try and break through the... Wow, it's not going to be Reavers, it's going to be Observatory. Now, he does have the option of going for a support bay behind this, but he's actually just playing super safe. Now, that's actually going to help him, because Ugox is actually going into DTs behind this. Or at least he has the option of doing it. Now that's not a bad decision. But given the circumstance, it's actually not going to work out for him. Now I do apologize if I'm lacking a little bit of energy today. I've had a really weird week in terms of sleep schedule and stuff like that, so... And also work was very boring today. It's really hard, like, it seems weird, but the more boring work is, the more tired I am because I'm just not focusing or doing anything. And now it is going to be Reaver coming in from LML as well. Now this is the moment where LML is going to push across the map. Now luckily for him, he's got his observer ready, he's going to push forward. Now if this observer gets sniped by a cannon, if he manages to target fire it down, DTs could come out and ruin his day. Now is he going for a second observer? No, he's going straight into a Reaver, so... This is all hinging on this observer right now, because the Reaver is going to help him. But if he doesn't have an observer at home, or at least one to kill the DTs, he could be in a bit of trouble. Now looks like we are going to have LML push forward. He is out of range of the cannons, so he's going to be able to target fire down those zealots. But this is still a lot of cannons, it's a lot of zealots, and it's not really an engagement you want to run into, so he's just going to kind of force the probes off the line, hold the line himself, and see where it goes from there. But LML is in a very, very good position. Wait, where did he lose the observer? I think he lost the observer, didn't he? Oh man, I didn't see that happen, but I think the observer died. That means these DTs are going to clean everything up. Or at least they can clean everything up, but it looks like LML has just got so much stuff that he can just actually push through the DTs. He's not even that worried. He's going to go in. If he goes into the main base, he can start sniping down probes. But does he even have an observer at home? He needs to build a cannon or something, because if these DTs run to his base right now... okay, there is going to be an observer. That's a little bit more lucky. I think Ugox has lost this game. He is going to stay in here, but... I mean, LML is in such an overwhelmingly good position that I don't see this going any other way. Now there is a DT coming in here too, LML's natural, but unfortunately for him it's going to die pretty much immediately. And I think with that he'll probably tap out, because there's not really anything you do from there. I mean, this series so far, as much as I like BuLL and I like Red, this series so far has shown what it looks like when a stronger team on the day outperforms their opponent, because Red have played this out pretty perfectly. They've not really missed any beats whatsoever. And look at this, there's going to be a Reaver and a Zealot coming into the main base. There's no Dragoons here whatsoever. The probes have already been pulled and he's going into Storm. Storm isn't going to help you in this situation. Like, yes, you can storm down the Reaver or the Shuttle, but he doesn't even have Storm yet. So right now he's got 2 High Templar that can do absolutely nothing. Now there is a DT chasing down the Shuttle, which will eventually be able to kill this Reaver. Oh my god. He killed the Reaver with splash damage. The shield barrier keeping the Archon alive through this. That's actually really clever. No way this... yeah, I was going to say the Archon's not going to live long enough. That was a little bit unfortunate. If the shield barrier was a little bit higher, he could have had like the pimpest hold ever against the Reaver, but... yeah, I mean, this game is pretty much done. We've got additional gateways coming in here for LML. Ugox is still on 2 bases. The probe counts are even. But in spite of that, he's down 30 supply. And yeah, there we go. He's about to lose a ton of probes. Oh, that was good. But there we go. Now, I'd like to apologize for the fact I still haven't turned my light on. I'm going to go and do that in this next break. Hello. It's actually got really dark throughout this game, so I'm going to go for a little bit of a longer break, probably around 5 minutes, then we'll get into game 4 of this first series. See you guys soon.
STPL does.
BuLL TVP.
Wow!
You got it.
STPL does.
Mass Scouts? No problem. Broadcast 3 nights a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2100 CEST. Fantastic casting, fantastic production, fantastic prizes. Only here on the STPL. Did you know Reavers could be this radical? How did these lings even get here? All I know is that's one dead base.
STPL does.
Wraiths, Valkyries, Carriers, and Corsairs? Forget about it. You won't see that anywhere else.
STPL
Does.
STPL
Does.
STPL
Does.
STPL
Does.
STPL does.
DT's doing game-ending damage? Name a more iconic duo. We've even got Carriers in PvZ.
How amazing!
A global team league on the scale you've never seen before.
Don't see this in BWCL. STPL does.
All that and more, only on this amazing 64-bit STPL. What BWCL don't. Impressed? I know I am. Why not support us on the link below? Patreon.com/kicks. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 4, and that is the wrong screen we are looking at. So you've seen behind the scenes. You now know how the production works at the STPL. It's all good though. We are going to have a brand new player here for Red. He is from Greece, but I didn't know that before the game started, so that's why we don't have the Greek flag there. But it's going to be cool to see how he's going to do. He is going to be up against Inca. Now, of course, Red have won the series 3-0, but we do play all 4 games in the STPL, which means we will see this 4th and final game as well. Now, Inca, not the strongest player on BuLL, but definitely doing a little bit better as the season's going on. He's only got a 25% win rate against Protoss, but that was over 4 games, so it's not the end of the world. The map they're going to be heading into is going to be Tripod. Tripod, a really, really cool 3-player map. The most standard of our 3-player maps in the map pool for Season 2. It was from one of the I think it was Season 8. It was kind of like an updated version of Transistor, which was actually good, whereas Transistor was very bad. It was definitely not well balanced, but Tripod leads some really interesting games. Overall, I think this is one of the best maps we've had so far this season. I mean, to be honest, all of the maps we've had have led to really, really good games, but PvT here is a lot of fun. And let's get into it. It's game number 4. It's Inca versus SOS TOS. Okay, the game has begun, and starting us off here in the bottom left-hand corner, it's going to be SOS TOS fighting for red in the red. And his opponent, starting over here in the top right-hand corner, or the middle right-hand corner, the middle right-hand side, it's Inca fighting for BuLL in the blue. Now, SOS toss. Oh no. He's taken a gamble. He's going for a proxy 2 gate in the middle of the map, but he's put it in the worst possible place. He had 50-50 chance to get this wrong, and unfortunately he has. This is a little bit unfortunate here for SOS toss. I feel a bit bad for showing this game. But it happens. When you go for a cheesy build like this, when you want to end it quickly on a 3-player map, and it's a map like Tripod, if you guess incorrectly, you're going to get punished for it. Now, SOS toss can technically still win with this, but he is going to be very, very far behind where he wants to be. Now, one thing he could technically do is mine through all these minerals and go through the middle of the map, but that'll take forever. And is this just going to be one of the quickest games of STPL history? Is he just going to scout the other main, see his opponent's not there, and leave? He's actually double scouting. Oh no, I feel so bad for SOS toss right now. Oh no. This is a heart sinker. Like, you just... If we had a camera on the players, which I wish we could have, I would zoom into SOS toss's face right now, because it would be a perfect picture of absolute despair, because he's found his opponent. He's in the right hand side, he is in the wrong side, and for his zealots to make it across the map, they are going to take an absolute age. And if you just right click them, they're going to get stuck on these side disruptors as well. So you need to actually... You need to try and click them back into your base and go from there. I mean, you can already see that the zealot is so confused. He got really messed up, but he went for a cheese, he went for a proxy 2 gate, and he chose incorrectly. So technically, I shouldn't feel bad for him, as Invidentia. Yeah, it is Invidentia in the chat says, but you can't help but feel sorry for this guy. It's his first broadcast game on the STPL network, and his zealots get stuck. A little bit unfortunate. Now, if there is some miracle in which the zealots can get to the base and still win, I will take my hat off to SOS toss. Because genuinely, that would be an absolute astounder of a game. Like, that would be ridiculous if you could win with these zealots. You can already see Inca getting ready, pulling some SCVs over here as well. Lifting his factory to build the machine shop. He should really... Does Inca know? Yeah, Inca knows there's no gate in the main base. He shouldn't have done that. He should have gone straight into vultures just to make sure he doubly wins. But Cybercore is coming in. Eventually we will have some dragoons here, and maybe we can kind of normalize things. But it looks like the zealot's going to run up the ramp. There is a ton of marines here, and these zealots are going to go down almost immediately. And the SCVs hold on as well, and I think that is all is going to be wrote in this game, and that's going to mean the BuLL are going to be able to get a little bit of pride back in the series. It did take a little bit of a failed cheese here from SOS toss, but there's not really too much he can do now. Forge coming in here as well. I mean, the Forge isn't really going to help him too much, but he's just going to probably try and hold on against what's going to be coming his way very shortly. We're going to have a FD push. He's going to expand most likely to the the top left-hand base. And I mean, this is just more Marines than there are even... There's more Marines than pretty much anything the Protoss can build right now. Even cannons won't hold on to this at this point. Yeah, the Sofa King Kappa points out, if his opponent spawned in the top left, which is what the gamble was, he could have won with this. He would have had a lot of vultures, and he would have been able to push forward. And here we go. We're going to have the Marines pushing forward. SOS toss is definitely in a bad position, but maybe he holds on here. I highly doubt it. He is going to get the vulture before any mines can be put down. But the cannons aren't even going to finish in the main base. Like, if these cannons were here, it would be very, very hard for Inca to be able to push up this ramp. But, yeah, this is pretty much game over. Are we going to make it to the 6-minute curse, or is he going to die before then? He's got 5 seconds. 3, 2... Oh, he leaves before 6 minutes. The 6-minute curse was not activated. As we get in... Well, that was the final game of the series, so that's going to give Red a 3-1 victory. And I just clicked the wrong button for that, so let's just quickly go back here for a second, and then we'll fix all of this quick. But basically we had Eriador winning. You know what I could do? I could actually, I can show you what happens when I click the player 1 button on the results screen, because that's interesting. So we had Eriador winning game number 1. We then had Talent winning game number 2. We then had Elabel winning game number 3. And then Inca winning game number 4. Inca got lucky. I mean, honestly, even if the Proxy 2 gate was in the on his side of the map, I think he still probably would have held. He knew exactly what to do on that map against proxies, so that was it. I mean, it was a fairly straightforward series. All the games seemed a little bit one-sided, but the series coming up next is going to be an exciting one, because we're going to be heading in to NetWars versus SouL. Now, NetWars came out last week and they beat White Clan, who unfortunately have left the tournament, but their win still counts, obviously. Can they do the same against the number 1 ranked team? They've already taken down the number 2. Can they take down the number 1? We'll have to find out when we get back from the break. Now, one thing I do want to say is a massive shout out to our sponsors, Maturino. I don't know why I'm pointing there. Maturino, Liquipedia, and Esport Fund. Amazing, amazing contributors to the STPL. If you want to help with the Maturino link, you can hit that Maturino link there. You don't have to say, you don't have to pay anything even. You can use the code STPLS3 to add 50 cents to the prize pool, completely free. And when I'm back in just a few minutes, we'll go into game series number 2.